Good afternoon, everybody. I'd like to call the special council meeting for Thursday, September 19th, 2024 to order. As we gather, we're reminded that the town of Bonnyville is situated on Treaty 6 land that is steeped in rich Indigenous history and is the traditional homeland and home to First Nations and Métis people today. We respect the histories, languages, and cultures of First Nations, Métis, and all First Peoples of Canada, whose presence continue to enrich our community. All right, before us we have an agenda that's been adopted. Any other additions or deletions to it?
Nothing for administration, Your Worship.
Okay. All right, so I'd like to call a motion to adopt the agenda. Okay.
I'll move adoption of the agenda, Mr. Chair.
Okay, thank you. All in favor? Carried. All right, we're off to a rip-roaring start. Welcome, everybody, today. Number 4A is just our community organization funding request spreadsheet for information for us to show what we have done in the past and upcoming asks are. So I'll call up our first delegation, the Aurora Visual Arts.
We don't either, really.
That's okay, the chair's been corrected already once, so. I said the chair's been corrected already once. All right, so who's going to be speaking today, or Brenda? I'll get you to put the mic in front of you and just turn it on there. Make sure the light's green on the bottom.
Green.
Okay, so we'll give you 20 minutes in total for presentation questions and everything.
3.
3? Are you sure?
Yeah.
You don't want to stretch that out?
No, it's
Okay.
good.
Sounds good. I'll let you go. Thanks, Brenda.
Okay, I'm Brenda Claude, Marilyn Brockhoff, and Bonnie Smith. And we're with the Aurora Visual Arts Association that has been incorporated as a nonprofit society since 2012. And so we have attempted to keep our little group going. We've never had a permanent home. We actually are renting at the museum right now, which is working okay, but we don't really have a place to run classes or do that kind of thing. And we'd like to thank town for letting us hang some of our paintings here. Everything here is with our group. And in the future, we'd certainly like to have our own little gallery space or whatever. We'd love to be part of the Clayton Bellamy group, but we'll see how
We need to get your number.
We've talked to you before, but what we were told was it's a performing arts, but we're visual arts, so I mean, art is art, right? Right, guys?
The thing is, when we're painting, we're also performing, so
Oh, yeah.
that's how you.
Yeah, we can put on a wig or whatever. And so we're asking for a meager amount for basically our rent and our insurance and a little bit extra for an art show that we have in December.
Yes, we are planning a art show in February, and we'll be asking Vermilion, Laklabish, all the art groups around in our whole area to participate. We have not set a date yet. We're still in the planning. And to rent a place for that, we're still looking.
We have a place.
You might, but we don't.
Really?
How much?
We don't know yet.
All right, is that
Anything else you want to add?
anything else? No?
I don't think so.
All right, I'll open the floor to any questions or comments. Councillor Sharoon?
Yes, thank you. Just one comment here. If you're looking for space to hold a workshop, the Ag Society, and because you're a nonprofit, you would get it for free at the rodeo grounds. So they have a fairly big boardroom, conference room, meeting room, and there's a lot of space there.
Okay.
And I can give you the contact information, and again, we host 4-H, and there's a couple other non-user groups that we don't charge for, so.
That's for classrooms, not for shows.
That would be for a classroom, but then again, you could work with Corey on shows or whatever as well, so.
You know, this summer we had talked to them about space, and then the fellow we were talking to seemed to have disappeared off the face of the earth.
No, he's here, he's back.
Oh, okay. We couldn't get a hold of him anyway for months. And because if there was a room that was bigger than our museum, it would work better, but something to think about.
I don't know about the storage, but if you were going to host an event, we can definitely work something out.
But that room is large.
Yes, it
Okay.
is, yep.
Okay.
Any other questions or comments? All right, well, thank you very much for coming in, and you know what, your paintings have definitely livened up council chambers. Museum too. And the ones you have on display at the museum too are very nice. I've looked at all of them, because I'm on the museum board, so they're fantastic. So I'm happy we have a group in town that does the visual arts, because it's an important piece, you know, because not everything's about sports and that, so keep up the good work. Thank you very much.
Well, you know, we have some new people in our group that are amazing artists.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely, like Wanda just blows me away. So we'd like to continue for new people, and, you know, it's an attraction to the town. You know, if that's your thing, and, you know.
All right, well, thank you very much for coming in today.
Well, thank
Have a
you.
good afternoon.
No problem.
Couple of laughs there, so that was good.
Yep. That's always a good thing.
Thank you.
All right, so next up, we have the Bonnyville and District SPCA. Yeah.
Did my hair just for this.
All right, same thing, we'll give you 20 minutes in total for everything, and just speak into the mic, and that'd be great. I'll let you ladies take it away.
Okay, good afternoon, council. I'm Dawn Weber, and I'm wearing a different hat in the seat right now. I'm the president of the board of directors for the Bonnyville and District SPCA, and I'm really thrilled to introduce you to Lindsay McNaught. She is our fairly fresh executive director to our team. The Bonnyville and District SPCA has operated for many, many years without an executive director, and this is exactly the boots on the ground that the SPCA has needed to put ourselves on the map in town and really start to see some potential for growth. So with that, I'm going to slide the mic over for Lindsay to have her first stab at the council presentation.
Thanks, Dawn. Hi, everybody. So at our shelter, we believe in the power of love and kindness towards animals. And with a shared commitment to their well-being, we strive to find forever homes for our furry friends. So the Bonnyville and District SPCA's mission was created to give a home to animals who have been abandoned, lost, abused, and to provide these animals with a safe haven. We promote responsible pet ownership and a commitment to make a difference. We provide resources for caring and placing these animals into a new home. So some of our progress and celebrations to date, the shelter staff and board overcame obstacles created by the pandemic restrictions. We have a high staff retention and very low turnover. We've got a really great shelter team. They're quite tight. Most of them have been there for at least 2 or 3 years. The board hired me as boots on the ground, so I'm taking on a fundraising role and going out and getting sponsorships and donors and funding and things like that. Our board of directors is working towards a governance role. We had our first strategic planning session and we created work plans for our board and the executive director. We are launching new fundraisers and we're out there creating new relationships and sustaining existing ones in the community. So I'll just go over some of our shelter operations and statistics for the operating year of 2023 to 2024. So our dog intake, we had 96 strays, one of which was surrendered, 0 born in shelter. We had 23 animals returned to their owner, 54 adoptions. In-house animals from the previous year were 21, so we started out that operating year with 21 animals already in the shelter, for a subtotal of 118. Our vet expenses for that year for dogs were $22,309.68. For cats, we had 156 strays, 5 surrendered, 5 cats born in shelter, only 2 returned to owner, 130 adoptions, 25 in-house from the previous year for a subtotal of 186 cats. And the cat's vet expenses were $28,471.52, which is a total of $50,781 in vet expenses for that year. Year to date, we've had 54 dogs, 108 cats, and year to date vet expenses are $17,476.22. So with the hiring of an executive director at the SPCA, that board of directors previous to me coming in was a working board. So they were doing all of the work for events and fundraising and sponsorships. And now with me taking care of some of the day-to-day operations and fundraising, our board of directors can work more into a governance role. So this transition allows our board to focus on financial matters, policy and legal matters, and defining our strategy moving forward. So our governance model ensures that the board remains focused on long-term growth and strategic planning while the rest of the staff handles the day-to-day operations. So recently we had a strategic planning session with our board of directors. So what we did was we conducted a SWOT analysis of our organization. So some of the strengths and weaknesses that we came up with was our strengths. We're hosting and participating in community events. We're launching new fundraisers and consistently working on a calendar of events and looking for new opportunities in the community to raise money for the shelter. The team at the shelter is amazing. Like I said before, high staff retention, and we've got a good team in place. Some of our weaknesses that came out of that planning session were we need to source out more funding for the shelter. We need more space as we're almost always at capacity. So in the last 2 years, we've been at capacity at all times for dogs. And in the last 6 months, we've been at capacity with cats. We also need to create some educational pieces and programs. So we are cognizant of our budget and focus on spaying and neutering initiatives on our intake animals. So animals in our care always leave the shelter spayed or neutered. And our goal is to present education to the community as well as work with local schools and students to teach them about responsible pet ownership and the importance of spaying and neutering and start them at that at a young age. Some other things that we did in our strategic planning session, we identified growth and development opportunities, we identified our priorities and goals, and we also created work plans for our board of directors and executive director. So what came out of that work plan, we have 10 short-term and long-term goals. So for the next 2 to 5 years, our goals are to expand our current space. So we do have an office trailer there that we're going to look at maybe utilizing for additional kennels. We're going to increase our fundraisers, grants, and events over the next 12 months. We're going to go through an organizational restructure. We're going to strengthen our community relationships and corporate donors, so that's ongoing. We're going to focus on board development and staff training, volunteer recruitment and communication, community education, or organizational image and marketing. And then our 2 longer-term goals is to buy a new van, and also our big goal is to get a new shelter facility. So to review, our funding request summary for 2025 is a $50,000 operating grant, a $600 table at our annual fundraising event, and a $1,000 sponsorship of our first annual free microchip clinic. Same for 2026, and then for 2027, $50,000 operating grant, $1,000 table at our annual fundraising dinner event, and a $1,000 sponsorship for our free microchip clinic. I'll just go over our year-end financials a little bit. So for 2023 to 2024, our total expenses were $291,757, and our total revenue was $283,380. So we were running in a deficit of negative $8,377. So we just don't really have the opportunity to save money and put some funds aside for a shelter expansion or a new shelter in the future. And typically our vet bills in each operating year are about $50,000, and utilities are about $14,000. Anything else to add? That's it.
All right, thank you, Lindsay. I'll open it up for any questions or comments. Councillor Kushner?
Thank you. Thank you, guys. Great to see that the board is doing more of a governance role. That's going to help you guys out in the long run, I'm sure. The shelter facility, so you're talking about the building itself? That's what you're, not another trailer or something like that?
Well, like we're looking at utilizing one of the office trailers that we have on the property already. So
Yeah.
it's not being utilized for anything except for storage. So we're gonna look at our budget and get some quotes and things on if we can start utilizing that trailer. But it needs plumbing and things like that. So that's one of our shorter term goals, and then a new facility is our longer term.
That would be the building itself?
Like a new building, yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Through to administration, and I think we might have talked about this when I was on the board, but I can't quite remember. We have that trailer out at the landfill. Has that ever been given away?
Yep, that's been,
It's been gone,
that's
okay.
been committed for auction, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.
Great, thank you. Any other questions or comments? Councillor Langridge?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Question through, first off, kudos, I'm very happy to see a budget. I think that's the first time since we've been sitting in these chairs that the SPCA is actually have a budget that they're going to be working off of. I see we're budgeting for a loss. Is there any way for you guys to continue to be sustainable? You guys, and I've seen the last 2 years have had a loss of revenue. Any thoughts on how we're able to try and get that so we're at least a balanced operation, or have you guys discussed that at a board level?
Yeah, we have. So our current goals is to introduce new fundraisers, going after some grant funding and private donors and things like that to kind of make up for that negative balance.
So the answer is mostly Lindsay.
No pressure.
We decided to become governance so we could just tell Lindsay to go make up that difference. But yeah, the SPCA has had some challenges this year for sure. We lost a long-term recipient designation from Canadian Natural. That we've been a recipient for many years from their steak and shrimp night, which accounted for about $20,000 a year. You know, we had a few things happen this year already where an event got canceled and it changed what we had projected. So Lindsay is just ever changing the priorities, and she works with a calendar of events projecting the next 12 months for the board of directors to review every month. And right now we are still sitting at monthly meetings. So we're really keeping a close eye on that to see how we can just work on our end to fundraise from the community in new avenues.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions or comments? Oh, I want to say kudos to your organization. I have a dog from the SPCA that I got a few years ago, and I had taken her back there to return a leash I borrowed to take her home, and she was happy to go back and see everybody. So it goes to show the care that's taken of the animals there. The vet bills sat me back a little bit when I seen the total for last year. I tell you, that was a lot. I do have one question. This is more going through to administration over the microchip program that you guys are wanting to start to do. So this would be free to the public to bring in their dogs to, or in cats to microchip? Is that what it's?
Correct. So what we're proposing is to host an annual free microchip clinic. So essentially, if you were to go to a veterinary clinic and have your dog microchipped, it's about $55, $65 to have the microchip. The cost on those microchips is only about $10 to $12 per microchip. So that would be the cost that we need to cover, and our girls are able to administer microchips to cats and dogs. It's mostly, well, I mean, based on those numbers, I would say actually it's probably equal between stray dogs and stray cats in Bonnyville. So that would be our hope, is that $1,000 divided by that 10 to 12 is how many free microchips we could give out at like a weekend clinic, where we just campaign it and use it as an education opportunity of why it's important to have your animals tagged or microchipped. Yeah.
Okay, so through to our administration, my question would be, I don't know if you guys can answer this, would this help Officer Tom with the strays and that in town, picking them up and finding their owners a bit easier?
That's a distinct possibility, Mr. Chairman. I know we've talked about possibly purchasing a chip reader for her to have in her vehicle, and I think it's something we're budgeting for 2025. So yeah, it could indirectly aid us in identifying animals that Officer Tom picks up for sure.
And speed up some of her time then possibly, and free up some of her time?
Yeah, we've been coincidentally planning on purchasing a reader to have in the vehicle anyway, so this certainly aligns with our goals of trying to make things a little easier when the poor things are found running around if they're chipped. Absolutely.
Okay, thank you very much. That's it for me. Any other questions or comments? No? All right, thank you very much, Lindsay and Dawn. Thanks for coming in, and have a good day.
Mr. Chairman, just on the next agenda item, we're waiting for the Pontiac's representative to drop in, and they haven't come here yet, so on the off chance they're running late, maybe we could bump them towards the end of the agenda.
Okay, sounds good. So then we'll go to 4E, which will be the Bonnyville Senior Citizens Society. All right, welcome, Sherry.
Good afternoon, Council, and thank you very much for taking the time in your busy schedules to listen to our plea. So my name is Sherry Hennessy, and I'm the president of the Bonnyville Senior Citizens Society. I'm pleased to be here today and to tell you what we do, who we are, and what our little bit of challenges are. So for those of you who may not be aware of our history, our first building was built in 1977. So the society was incorporated in 1975. And that consisted of the Pioneer Hall, the smaller hall. In probably 1996, someone had a dream and they worked on it. And in 1998, the rest of the hall was built. And that would be the big hall, McGregor Hall, and the joining section between the two. So today the building is approximately 10,000 square feet. Our mission statement is the Bonnyville Senior Citizens Society to provide recreation, education, social and wellness programming to seniors. We believe that an active senior is a healthy senior. So as you can imagine, these two buildings, one after 47 years and one after 26 years, needed some upgrades, as face change, nice changes, anyway. So over the past 2.5 years, we have been applying for almost every grant we can get our fingers or our knowledge into. And we have received $151,858 worth of projects money, and we have changed the all the lights in the building to LED lights. We have all new ceiling tiles. We have security cameras. After having some big repair bills, we now have 6 new top-of-the-line furnaces, including the big one on the roof with an air conditioning unit. And we installed an air conditioning unit in the Pioneer Hall. We've done other smaller upgrades, new freezers, new stoves, that kind of thing, with the assistance from some of the local area. So out of that 151,000, 132,000 came from grants from provincial and federal governments, and we've only spent 19,000 of our society money on that, so we're pretty proud of that accomplishment. So who we are a nonprofit managed and supported and run totally by volunteers, senior volunteers, I might add. Last year, we received 4,350 hours of volunteer time that was actually tracked. We know we're at more than that. And the cost of our membership is $30 per year, per person. So that probably seems low to people of today's world with the inflation and everything, but our seniors are very vocal about us raising their fees. It's also kept low because we do have a lot of people living on limited incomes, and we still want them to be able to participate and socialize with the rest of the community. Due to the COVID pandemic, our membership numbers decreased significantly, and everyone knows why that happens with seniors, and the numbers are starting to come back. We're presently at 200, just a little over 200 members, and anyone can become a member. So if you are over 50 and you become a member, you are a voting member. If you are under 50 and become a member, you're an associate member, and you can do anything that we offer at the senior center, but you cannot vote. So there's also members of other seniors organizations in the area that do participate in activities and tournaments at our senior center as well. So that would be probably up to another 200 seniors between St. Paul, Lac La Biche, up to Cold Lake that do come and participate as well. We've tracked the numbers of our members, and the ratio is about 65% of them are from the town of Bonnyville and about 35 from the MD. So it's still pretty good. Lots of them move to town and they want to come see us because they're bored. What do we offer? We offer a variety of activities, either on a bi-weekly, weekly, or monthly, or during the summer months. So we have chair yoga, floor shuffleboard, floor curling, crib, bridge, snooker and 8-ball pool, bocce ball, shuffleboard, canasta. We have a community garden, thanks to the town of Bonnyville. We have horseshoe pits, and we have 2 groups functioning out of our center, and that's the Teenagers, which is a seniors choir, and a sewing group, which is the Tangled Threads. Over the last 18 months, we have also trialed three 8-week sessions of Minds in Motion, which is for dementia, Alzheimer's and/or early dementia participants and their caregivers. And they were successful, they had good feedback, but they cost about $2,500 a set to do, and we just can't seem to get that into our budget. So we're trying other fundraising or funding sources for that. And so we'll continue to try and keep up with that. I'm not going to go through it's not up there. Okay, the center also hosts activities that benefit people of all ages in the community. These include adult wellness sessions, hearing aid clinics, a variety of informational presentations, technology classes, immunization clinics, senior suppers, monthly pancake breakfasts, senior fun days, and crib and floor curling and bridge tournaments. We also hold 50-50 draws during most of our tournaments and events. We often collect donations at events for the SPCA or for the food bank. And we've also hosted the Alberta 55-plus summer and winter games tournaments. So many of our seniors would become shut-ins, especially in the winter, if the drop-in center did not provide these activities. The close proximity of our center to the local residents and long-term care facilities is an asset to our local seniors. The center also deals with many phone calls concerning questions from seniors. Where can I find this? Who can help me with that? Who can help with my taxes? That type of thing. Lots of it we don't do, but we know who to refer them to. So we do try to work with local agencies such as FCSS, the Wellness Coalition, Bonnyville Interagency, Age Friendly Coal Lake, and some of the other senior centers in the area and the halls, just to be able to let the people know what's going on and not duplicate programs so that we're not wasting resources. The center is also a rental facility. We have 2 halls that we rent, and those are used for everything from weddings to conferences to flu clinics. Not sure if you also know, we're an evacuation center for Bonnyville Centralized High School, Bonnie Lodge, and Extendicare. So if we'd be a short-term evacuation center, but in case something happens, they come to us. So we're proud of what we do. We function, like I said, solely on volunteer time. We are a very big working board. We're proud of our accomplishments on the way the facility has been managed and funded since its inception. And as a society, we'll continue to work hard to ensure that it continues for future generations. We support healthy aging and provide safe, secure place for seniors to visit and to participate or mentor others. We support the diversity and promote inclusion. Our facility is handicap accessible and easily accommodates people with physical disabilities. We also promote intergenerational mentoring by exposing our young people in our community to our members in social and volunteer settings. So currently we have 2 different young groups that come to our center to play D&D, and they do Commander League. And so they are from 15 to 45. And they also are now helping us with some of the heavy lifting so that they're quite easily, they get the tables all set up in 15 minutes, and it takes us about 45. So that's been a good toss back and forth. Our biggest current challenge, other than funding, is that our membership is aging. So over half of our members are over 70, and a lot of them being over 75, still active, still willing to participate, still willing to volunteer, but sometimes the body just won't do what the mind says it can. So we've had to hire out some stuff like snow removal, light housekeeping, that before we had done by volunteers. So that has increased our costs. Another increase in our costs has been that our insurance coverage since 2021 has doubled. So it's pretty hard to plan for that when you don't know what's coming at you. The utilities such as natural gas and power have doubled, and even though we've put in all of these, LED lights and new furnaces and high-efficiency furnaces, we haven't had it in long enough for it to show an impact. The usage is down, the price is up, so we can't control that. So just for round numbers, it costs approximately $100,000 to run the facility and the activities a year. So we as a board had planned all these years, we've always done it on our own pretty much, so we had a bit of a reserve. So we have some reserves that are, we had a bus, we sold the bus during COVID because of the cost to upkeep for something we weren't using. That was designated by the board to go into a travel fund for seniors. So if the seniors go on a tournament or that kind of thing, we assist with the busing. So that's what that one is designated for. We have The casino account. So the casino account, we used to get about 22 to 25,000 from going and working at casino, and it used to be just about two and a half or 2.75 to 3 years. So that was pretty good. You could count on that. It was about 22,000 for that. And the last year we went on a casino one, and we only got 17,000 out of it. And now, because there's such a high demand, we're now at 4.5 years between casino runs, because we can only go to the Camrose Casino. So that took some more money from our normal accounting. We do have 2 terms. One is designated to complete the facility upgrades from all the grants that we've gotten. And one is held as a cushion for if something went wrong. So if something took out the roof, or, we have something major, we've tried to correct everything there that needs fixing, but it's our, emergency fund. And that leaves us with about enough money of cushion to run for 1 to 1.5 years. So we feel we've been financially responsible in running the facility. However, over the 2 years of bills coming in with no income during COVID, that set us back more than we expected at all. So we've tried to catch up from that, but we see our future is iffy if we continue on the path we're on. So we're diligently trying to catch up, and we've been trying to do some fundraising. But fundraising is very hard when you're an activity-based facility. We do pancake breakfast. They bring us in about 10,000 a year because we have 10 of them. We've had a major setback on that. Our cook had to stop for us because she's medically ill. So we're trying to replace that. We do other fundraisers, like we sell 50/50s, but we haven't done any big fundraisers for lack of volunteers to carry it out, I guess, is our thing. Okay, it is up there. So our revenues to July 2020 have been 137,000 when you look at our books, but about 80-something of that was from grants. So in the 2025 estimate on expenses, which is the far column on the side there, we're estimating our revenues we're estimating to be about 41,000. So the expenses are current to date about $152,000, and we're planning on 2025 to be about 138,000 if the insurance doesn't go up again. So yeah. So what are our solutions? We've talked about what we can do to change things. We can continue on the same path as we're on today, and we'll just close our doors when the money's gone, which none of us want. We can continue to try and find grants that assist with operating funds and cut our programs if needed. So 2 years in a row, we've applied for $60,000 from the SIP operating grant, and 2 years in a row, we've been declined because the higher priority is food banks and homeless shelters, understandable. But that was what we have been trying to get the funding, and most of the bigger companies in the area want to fund a project, not operating. So we're finding that's getting more and more difficult because what we do doesn't cost that much. The building costs us way more, right? So we'd like to thank the town for all the things that they already do to support us. They plow our parking lot, they conduct repairs on it if it's needed, they pay our land tax, they supply our water and our flowers, which everyone loves in the summertime. They supply water to the community garden. This year they even power washed our building, which was greatly appreciated. And we appreciate the kindness and support from the town that we've seen at all of our activities. If we did have to close our society, we estimate that it would cost the town approximately $70,000 to $90,000 in a minimum wage to cover the hours of volunteer time that were put in. And that's not counting the cost of the building. Because in the end, if we close, the building does come back to you, maybe you won't want to keep it a senior center. So we know we've got some tough decisions to make in the next 1 to 2 years. And we're trying to get operating funds from local companies, but haven't been successful. And we would love to stay functioning as a society. A little tweak for you is that, did you know, as of September 2022, there were 725,000 Albertans over the age of 65, and the senior population is projected to be 1 million by 2035. By which at that time, this will be approximately 19% of Alberta's population. So I really hope that people will help us invest in the seniors, because I think if this did close, I don't think we'd have enough energy to get it back going. And it has been it's been a good place for the seniors for a long time. So during my time as a president, I visited with other local and distant senior centers and talked to them about their funding modes. And so a lot of the senior centers, close and far, have been supplied with municipal funding to assist with staff or with the building costs, or with some of them the building themselves. They just rent the building and they just pay for the activities. So that gave us some things to think about, because as a society right now, we're not ready to say we're not autonomous, but we do need a little bit of a hand.
You got about 2 minutes.
Thank you for your time, and I hope you will continue to support our efforts as you've done in the past, and the seniors in the area will continue to enjoy a beautiful and comfortable, inclusive facility for years. Any questions?
All right, thank you very much there, Sherry. I'll open it up to the floor for any questions or comments. No? Oh, Councillor Kushner?
I was waiting for somebody else to go first, but
That's too
no.
easy.
So just under cash, you have 369,000 at the end of 2023.
Yes.
Good on you. I'm assuming that's the contingency fund, basically?
No, our contingency fund, so right now we have a checking account basically and the savings that accounts to about $100,000 that's our running, that's what we live on basically to get us through the year. We have one GIC that is for emergencies or, cushion. And then we have one that's designated just to the grants. And then it's the other one that we have, but that'll take us for half of next year. So that's kind of, if you look at it, there's like still about 85,000 in grants money that I just haven't paid the bills yet. Some of the work has been done, but we're not done yet. But so we're about that 1 to 1.5 years away from being broke, and I don't want to see that.
From going poof.
So just so you know, the town, or the MD also gives us $15,000 a year for the center, and our next round of presentations will be to them to try and, I think if we can get out of this loss that we had and find our way, we can maybe, and if bills stay the same as they are now, we can plan, but you can't plan for everything to double when you're putting, like we were closed down and all of a sudden things started doubling. Well, you have no income and you're putting out twice as much. So just a little juggling we have to do.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Great, thank you. Any other questions from anybody else?
Thank you.
Just one quick one from me. With your dementia and Alzheimer's program that you guys have been running,
Yes.
I believe FCSS has supported
Yes.
that in the past.
They've supported us for 2. We got another supplier for another one, the first one that we did. And we plan to continue to request some funds from FCSS. But I have a couple of the local oil companies that if I give them a project, they are willing to look at it. So we're hoping to continue that because there is none of that in the area. Since we did our first one, Coal Lake has opened one, but you're limited to participation. So like we can handle 8 and their caregivers. And that's, like I said, $2,500 a set to do it. But we have had participation and we've had really good feedback. This time we're going to do it not exactly in line with Minds and Motions. We're doing our own little tailor to it so that maybe some of the caregivers can actually leave for those 2 hours and go get a haircut and not have to worry.
Okay. And one more question for you too. With your utility rates, have you guys shopped and locked in utility rates?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I was really coming from where I come from. I was really hoping that Northeast Gas would be supplier, but they're not.
No.
It's way cheaper.
Yes. All right. And if there's nothing else, then that's all I have. So thank you very much for coming in.
Thank you.
All right. So I think I'll just keep going in order. I'll call up the Clayton Bellamy Foundation.
Good afternoon, honorable councilors. Thank you for taking the time today to speak to us. My name is Clayton Bellamy. I'm the president and founder of the Clayton Bellamy Foundation. With me is our VP, Lise Fielding, and one of our board members, Louise Bellamy. And we're here to talk to you about the new Strathcona Performing Arts Theater. We're very excited. We have to extend an enormous thank you to the town for supporting our second annual Gala and Golf event. It's our major fundraiser of the year, and we're happy to say that we raised $205,000 this year. 200 of that, which went directly to the building of the building. 2,500 of that went to one of our local kids who are going to secondary education in the arts to study to be a drama teacher. So your help and support is already showing metrics, you know, in this community that we're supporting, and we're making a change by helping our next generation of great artists. So we thank you very much for that. We're here today to talk about a number of things. One is a $50,000 request, one-time request for audiovisual install and lighting. And then as well to speak to a $40,000 request for operation for 2025, and then a $15,000 for 26 and $15,000 for 2027. Before moving into that, I would just like to say that the theater is moving forward quickly. We're looking at GEMX saying that we're going to be open by November time, which is great. We've currently paid down over $1.5 million to the $2.5 million total of the project. So,
And that 200,000 will go toward it.
yes, so this,
It's part of the 1.5.
it's part of the 1.5 that we've paid. As well, on top of that 1.5 million, we've also secured a sound system for the theater for $68,000. It was actually a $250,000 system, but the remainder of the money was donated by the Enoch Cree Nation and the River Cree Casino. It was an in-kind donation. So we managed to get all of the sound in the venue for $68,000. So that was really quite incredible. So yeah, now we have to install this system, and of course there's all the doodads and knickknacks that come with the install, as well as our lighting and our build out. And of course, if you look at our budget here, I'll let our VP speak to that and the numbers and what they all mean, because there are a few indiscrepancies on there that we had projected, but of course, we actually outdid ourselves on the gala again this year. So
Yeah, we made
we made about $10,000 more on the gala than we projected, which is great. But having said that, the amount of money that we did make, as Clayton has stated, it's all going to be going, with exception of the bursary and paying our content insurance, all of it's going toward the building of our theater. So it looks like we're making money, but we are not.
Yes, of course, the startup costs for this facility to get up and running are going to be quite substantial.
Yes.
Hence the first year $40,000 operational budget to help us with some of the major things, like building a website and getting our ticketing website up and running, and of course in-house ticketing, and finding and hiring a theater manager, which we are going to have some kind of money in the bank to pay that person, because they won't work on promises.
Right, so that's basically where anything 2025 and forward will be going toward operations, and still also paying, because we will be in that building but owing money. So that money is going to be going toward that. Anything that we make will be going toward that debt. So, yeah.
We are actively, working towards dissipating the $1 million, debt that we have once the theater is completed. We've got a $500,000 CFEP grant that's currently on the table with the Alberta government. We've met with Scott Sear a number of times, as well as the Minister of Arts, Minister Furr. She came here and toured the facility. I also saw her at the Country Music Awards and made sure to remind her that we need that grant. We've have 3 more places inside the theater that we're actively trying to sell to some large local companies in order to, at $150,000 a piece, in order to get us closer to having that goal paid for and taken off of the plate. But in lieu of that, we're actively working at securing financing talking with the MD as well as the school board to take care of so we're not left in the middle with a facility that needs to be paid for and unfinished. So we're keeping all our ducks in a row.
Well, and one of the main reasons that we need to have this facility finished first, and we're not, just pressing pause until we have the money, is because of building costs are going up astronomically all the time. As we found out when we, initially had a $1.8 million project on the table, and then it turned into 3.2, and then we had to scale back to the 2.5. If we were to press pause in the middle and have GenMech, do this next year, let's say, this will increase our costs astronomically. So we have chosen to carry on and make this be a reality by the end of this year, and we will find the money, hopefully with your help.
Do you want to speak to some of the things on our budget then?
I'm open to questions on it, or Louise's too.
Okay, well, I'll open it up to questions from council. Anybody at this point? Councilor Kirshner, thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Mr. Chair. I think you're on the right track. You don't want to pause it. Yeah, because it'll be like the old RJ Lalonde, sit there for how many years before you get the money to go do it. So I think that is the right way to go about it, 100%. So no, I give you kudos on that. The gala was great again. Enjoyed it. Yeah, that's my only comments.
We're really, we're actively going on the Field of Dreams, motto: if we build it, they will come. We're currently already booking dates for 2025. The school's got bookings in there. There's things happening. We just found one today. Looks like, hopefully we can put our Aurora Arts friends in there for an art show. But we are pivoting as we're going, knowing that what's coming down the pipe is, it's a very daunting task and we're all volunteers here too. None of us are on the payroll, but we want to see this thing succeed, and we want to make sure that, that this is not an albatross, that this is a gem in the heart of the lakeland, and that's where I think that we're aiming. So that's why we know with your support that we can get the wheels up and moving underneath this thing, so that we, hopefully don't have to come back here and once things are going.
And the opening date, do you have an opening date yet?
I'm sorry?
When is it going to be finished, you think?
Jenik is saying the end of November, December.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Christmas concert time.
Hopefully. And then something else that I wanted to just kind of ease your minds on is once the facility is open, we are then able to apply for many more grants. Many, many more grants are available to us once we're open and operational. Yeah. Right now, our hands are tied in a lot of ways for grant opportunities, but we have exercised every grant that we know of so far. And Minister Furr is definitely helping us and pointing us in the right direction for other grants as well that we just found out about. Again, for operations, which is good. And we also have some oil companies that are looking at sponsoring us for programming, that are very interested in programming sponsorship. So, things will all fall into place, but we first have to have it finished and built.
Of course, with that, we want to make sure that we're not flat-footed with a finished and built center, and we can't operate, usually with any small business, we need 6 months of operating capital in order to get things moving at minimum. So that's kind of what we're looking for with this initial ask, as well as the $50,000 with the audio and visual install and lighting will help offset that.
Great. Thank you. Any other questions or comments from anyone? I guess the lone question I have for, the next 3 years, you're seeking operational money. What was it, 15,000, I think it was? Yeah. So beyond that point, you're hoping you're looking from us every year or so on, or you're looking to secure funding for that or make the money yourself so you're not coming to us for more operational?
Well, of course, we can't make any on the record promises, but that would be the goal, to be self-sufficient in the community, along with obviously our golf and gala is going to be we want that, once the theater is built, to be our main fundraiser. When all the pieces fall into place with our CFEP and our 3 left to sell places inside the theater, once the theater is paid for, any money that we make at the golf and gala will go directly to operational costs every year. So that's where we want the offset to be, and not having to come to ask the town for anything. So
it will also depend. It will also depend as well, of course, on the public and their support. When we do have concerts and we do have shows, hopefully the town of Bonnyville and the MD of Bonnyville will come out and support us.
All right, well, I want to thank you guys for your hard work, because I do believe, like I said before, visual arts and performing arts are very important to our community. It was a stage for myself when I was a kid, when the Albert Center first opened up. So I'd like to see that there for youth going ahead, and give them every opportunity to realize realize their dreams. And like yourself, you won CCMA's Juno Award winner, as well as many other artists have gone through, like Mike Plume, George Canyon, even though he was here working, but he performed on the stage here before it was torn down. So kudos to you in keeping it going, and thank you for your presentation today.
thank you so much, and thank you again for all of your support.
All right, so now we're going to rewind to 4D, and we're going to call up the Bonnyville Junior A Pontiacs. Afternoon, Dennis. How are you doing today?
Good afternoon, I'm doing well.
That's good.
My apologies for being late. Last season proved to be a pretty interesting and challenging one in the world of junior hockey, with the AJHL seeing transformation within member organizations. But we're proud to report that the Pontiacs continue to be a leader in development for the AJHL. The last season saw new faces and new players welcome to the town of Bonnyville, and saw the Pontiacs have a successful year both on and off the ice. We boasted an impressive 9 NCAA Division I scholarships, and throughout the year, on our roster and off the ice, we saw the Pontiacs have a solid year financially due to the coach getting a job offer overseas with a professional team in Switzerland. The team was able to see a large savings in the salaries, along with another great year of community support and fan attendance at the RJ. The team's mandate to create a family-friendly and affordable outing for everyone continues to be at the forefront of the Pontiacs' requests for this upcoming year. The town of Bonnyville has been the sponsor for the Pontiacs Ambassador Program. This program helps us offer the lowest prices in the AJHL for tickets, and is available to everyone online. Last season saw over 27,000 people visit the Bonnyville C2 Center to attend Pontiac home games and events. Along with the Ambassador Program, we are looking to partner for the Pontiac's annual golf tournament, which was attended by Councillor Kushner and the General Manager of Community Services, Dan Haney, this past year. The town has sponsored the elusive Hole-in-One contest every year, which gives all the golfers a chance to win $34,000 for next year's event, to coincide with the Pontiac's 34th anniversary in the AJHL. The final part of the request is for the town to attend the 3rd annual Victor Ringet Sportsman Dinner. This event is a collaboration of community not-for-profit groups that work together to bring a guest speaker and an evening of fun to the town of Bonnyville to raise funds for the organizations. The Bonnyville Junior A Pontiacs are very appreciative for the continued support from the town of Bonnyville, and we look forward to continuing our partnership for years to come. We pride ourselves on being active members of the community and strive to be an economic driver for sports tourism for many years. Thank you for your time, and I would be happy to answer any questions.
All right, thank you, Dennis. I'll open it up to the floor. Any questions or comments? We always look at you first, Phil.
Just one comment. Going to that Pontiac's golf tournament was fun, enjoyable. You did a great job. But to say we golfed, no, we were horrible. But other than that, we had a lot of fun.
Great, thank you. Any other comments? Just for me, great job on getting the kids the scholarships and giving them that opportunity to get education and move on with their hockey careers and education careers. And I think this organization's really kind of lit the way in town for that, because now we're starting to see more of that happening through football, through track and field. And I think you guys kind of led the way for that and kind of opened that up to all sports in town. So kudos to the organization for that. So,
thank you.
All right, thank you very much, and thanks for coming in, and have a good day.
Thank you. See you.
All right, so our next on the agenda is in-camera legal. So I need a motion to go into camera, please. Yes, Councillor McAvoy.
I will move that we go in camera.